this is Sherry Veronica. This blog is related to someone working at Automotive Arts. It's a car place in Barbados. It is all alleged maybe Automotive Arts will conduct some sort of investigation, internal investigation, but they're saying that there's a girl that is working at Automotive Arts and she has some sort of position, but she is taking money from elderly customers who come to the store with their credit cards or their debit cards, and she is taking money from the cards. Now, at first when I read this blog, I didn't quite get it, because I'm saying if she is taking that much money, which they're saying that someone lost 20,000, you will know. In fact, most credit cards don't have that kind of credit limit. You don't have that much credit grace on a credit card. So I didn't understand it at first, but as I kept on reading, it seems as though she may be involved with some of the quote-unquote customers that she is ripping off, and because she can turn to the wife of the customer and say, well, we're in a relationship and I got to go ahead to take it, or it was okay with him, because she has that as a blackmail. From what I'm reading, that's why the police is not involved. But here it says that they were talking about it, and they were talking about this guy who is a painter, and I don't know how a painter would be handling so much money, but that's what they're saying about him. And he's married, and they're saying that she was spending the money on Amazon, Shein, Fashion, Nova, Nike, other places. And what became interesting here is that the person that wrote this blog said that one of the guy that was burnt 20,000 here, he actually is giving the girl at Automotive Art, allegedly, he's giving her money to pay the wife back, because the wife found out. It all blew up and she found out, and instead of taking it to the police, the girl says she will pay back, and he, the husband, is actually giving the girl money to pay back his own wife. And he's telling her that he doesn't sleep in the house, he sleeps in a different bedroom, and he and his wife, like getting divorced, and he sleeps downstairs. And so there's a gimmick, but it's also transactional, if you know what I'm saying. It's transactional. It's like she's just not taking, she's giving too. She's giving. And then they're saying that a lot of these young girls are messing with older guys to get, favors, and the older guys, they don't have a problem with a young female coming onto them. So it's an exchange. It's transactional. So this person that wrote the blog said that the biggest concern is how many older males fell victim to this girl and her scams. And it's not only one girl. It seems as though there are more than one female, there are more than one of them that are doing this particular thing through Automotive Arts. And they're talking about people going in there and shopping, and then they're being stolen from. And if you buy something, let's say you buy a battery, and what do? Do they add on more money? Like instead of the battery costing $65, they will say it costs $85. But how do they get that $20 in their pocket? But it's a scheme, and you have to be a thief, and you have to be doing it to understand how they would get away with that. And in the beginning of this blog, they were saying that the people, when they give their credit cards, that they would make copies. They would scan it and they will make copies. See, here it is. Once they take the credit card or the debit card, they would scan. They're scanning it to their phones and then using the card to make purchases and to pay bills online, get their hair, nails, whatever. But like I said, an older person may not be going to the spa An older person may not be getting their hair and their nails done. So that is a red flag right there. That is something that will show up like almost instantly on your card. And you know, a lot of people look at their statements. Don't assume that they're not looking. A lot of people actually look at their statements, and if they're going to see like Gentleman's Club, or if they're going to see something that they know that they're not going to and they don't partake in, it's a red flag. So like I said, this has got to be transactional. Maybe the person that is coming to automotive arts will know the girl or one of the girls, and they're exchanging favors, and from the time that happens, from the time there's that kind of favor, when when they talk about consummating a marriage, once that happens, when the person comes back to make a purchase, they can do something to the card, or they can whatever, because the person can't really go to the police, because then the person's going to say, well, that's my boyfriend, and here's a photo of him in my bed, or whatever scheme they have going on is going on. And this blog is to expose the scheme that is going on. And if you really get good at a scheme, you can actually involve people who are unsuspecting, because sometimes these people can read the situation and they know that people are absent-minded and they're not really sure, but this older person may still want to behave as though they're independent. They think they've still got it going on, but they are reading the whole situation, and they know that when they talk to the person or say something or say whatever, the person doesn't quite get it, and they know how to take from that particular person. So yeah, after a while doing these particular schemes, they can get really good at it, and older people that come into the store and are not sure-footed, they can scan that particular card and buy groceries. Instead of going to the spa, they could probably go buy groceries or do something that they think that person would do, and they can get away with it for a while, but everything comes to an end. Okay, so this is regarding this person, females working at Automotive Arts, and there's a scam going on where they are fleecing customers. But for the most part, I don't know if I'm taking a jump here, but it seems as though it may be transactional, and the male that is being fleeced has a wife. They bring sure that person has someone, so that when the SH hits the fan, that instead of going to the police, they can say, let's work this out. Okay, so that's it for this one. This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.